Hey, what's up? Hello, Holo Simpians, and welcome back to another episode of SimplyPodLogical, a Simply Nailogical podcast.
Holo Tacoians. That's
terrible.
Not
we got to start again. The Sock Squad, something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Sorry for not being with you last week. I hope you remembered it was Taco Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We needed a little breather, and I feel like we're still kind of recovering from a very exciting weekend. Thank you to everyone who joined us, who joined Cristine in her
live stream launch.
17 hours of streaming the
Not
release of the Holo Taco 2021 remix collection.
It was fun, and we are breathing now. We're trying to breathe. It's all good. But thank you guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you. Do you want to just reflect just on what happened?
I had a great time. It was a fun party. We did a little pre-launch half an hour before on the stream when I went live, half an hour earlier than the launch, and then we all got to see the map light up. The map of like where people are on the website, and then we got to see the countdown clock and together, and everyone in the chat participating. It was just so much fun. I had a good time. So thank you guys for joining me if you were there.
Yeah, so considering it's Holo Taco's second birthday, it's been a while since we did a podcast just about the business of nail polish and the nail polish business. So we thought it would be a good time to do another one. We put out calls for questions across socials, including Discord this time too. Mm-hmm. And so do you want to just hop into questions?
Let's see it. What do you guys have? We're going to try not to answer the same questions that we've already answered in another podcast, but there's a ton of good questions. Some I think are worth repeating the answer to, and I think some of our answers have changed or evolved over time naturally.
Mm-hmm. So first question from Forever After Nails. What is your favorite part of creating a collection, and what part is your least favorite?
Where do I begin? The favorite. Okay. I get overly excited about the creative concepts and, oh, well, the box could be this if the concept was this. And what if we paired these colors together, and what this combination could look so cool. And it sometimes I have to calm myself down because we might be in the middle of a meeting about like supply chain, about like pigment sourcing or something. And I'm like talking creative concepts, and the team's like, okay, table that. That's a different conversation, Cristine. But like as my ideas are coming and going, I don't want to lose them. So I get overexcited and just start talking. And Ben sometimes is like, Cristine, just write it down.
Yeah, we'll be in meetings about like supply chain and like timelines for getting shipments in. And Cristine's just like, this collection.
We could say this in the copy. We could put this on the website. Yeah, I do that. So that's one of my most fun parts about it is the creative component of coming up with the collection of what it could look like, what it could sound like in terms of the copy, and how I'm going to message it. So that's my favorite part, and the first part really in the step of coming up with the collection altogether. Mm-hmm. My next favorite part is getting the prototypes in the mail. I feel like Cristine the Science Queen when I get the first set of prototypes that was mixed by our chemists and product developers, and I will analyze them up close, try them on a piece of paper, over black, over white, on my nails, compare them to things that we already have in the lineup, and just overanalyze everything, try different combinations, make Ben try them, and also wear them myself, because prototyping and wearing the shades is an important test of just testing, for wear and usage too. But like overanalyzing what's inside the pigments and how they compare, and the color, like which exact Pantone shade of purple do I want?
Yeah,
is fun.
It takes a certain kind of mindset to look at like 10 different reds and to really care about the subtle differences between, like, you'll be looking at things and I'll look at it on a swatch wheel and I'm like, I don't even know what difference you are seeing between these things.
And sometimes I lose perspective too, because we'll have so many options and I'll get really stuck on deciding. Mm-hmm. But really the option is like, Cristine, like one of these is it. You're just pick one.
Sure. So what is your least favorite part of the process?
There is no least favorite part, but I guess in terms of the creative process, as much as I love coming up with shade names because it gives me the opportunity to be like, that's a badass name, I like that. I have some winners in my mind already. Like I know that I'm going to name something coming out in 6 months, this particular name, and I'll write it down. Mm-hmm. But I don't always have the name for every polish SKU, right? So I have to like sometimes I struggle. I'm like, I don't know what to name this particular color of blue. You know, like we've already named this many blue polishes at this point. I don't have a winning name. And that's what is frustrating to me. And we'll circulate ideas between myself and the team, and we'll come up with a list of like, here's 10 options. What are we feeling? And it's not just me at this point. Like I definitely have help giving input, but I find it frustrating when I don't have a winner.
Yeah, I get it. And sometimes it's like you've committed to a collection concept and like 4 of the 5 products might have names that came really naturally, but it's just like the one green polish doesn't lend itself
like
to an
lost.
obvious tie-in or pun or something like
Yeah.
that. We also overthink these things.
For sure we do.
Yeah.
And that's for the creative aspect of what's the least favorite part. I'd say another, it's not a least favorite part, but it's something that you just have to deal with in business that I've absolutely learned is as exciting as launch is, it also comes with a lot of questions from customers, such as like, where is my order? You know, which I hate. I get it because that means you're excited about it. You know, you placed an order for something you wanted immediately, and there's a lot of hype around a big Holo Taco launch. I just want to protect like our customer service agents for a second here because I know that their role is to provide the best customer service and to help you guys if there's any order issues. It's harder for them to do their job when they have inquiries and tickets to deal with that are questions that could be answered just by like looking at the website and that aren't really issues with an order. For example, just because this is the most common one, is it's been 2 business days since launch and people might DM customer service saying, where's my order? I see other people getting it. Where's mine? We say on our website that during launches, it can take up to 10 to 14 days to process orders. Mm-hmm. So there really is no issue. You just want your Holo faster like other people
and we appreciate
which
that.
I understand. I totally get it. It's just what happens is the customer service agents are now dealing with multiple of those tickets, and it's taking time and resources away from dealing with someone who's like has a missing item or there was like some other error. That's all.
Yeah, I get it. And we're living in the age of Amazon where people are basically
Right.
expecting drones to drop off packages to
Yeah,
them
we
the
don't
same
have drones
day,
yet.
You know? But we would paint them with hollow nail polish if we did.
We would.
All right, next question from Just Nails Swatchin'. How do you decide how often to do launches? Some of the launches have seemed close together, like Electric Hollows and Life's a Beach, so just curious what goes into scheduling decisions. From the last question, the least favorite part. Least favorite part for me is trying to make the puzzle fit of what a collection schedule looks like.
Because I want it all. And then you're like, we can't do it all, Cristine.
Honestly, that's the biggest problem. And honestly, we are looking at a calendar for all of 2022 right now and trying to see where things fit in. And some of it's dependent on product development. And there's a lot of things that can still change things, right? But the struggle of the correct cadence, but knowing all the different types of formulas or different collection concepts you already have in your mind is difficult to balance because there's people who want everything.
Yeah.
There's customers we see who are going to buy everything that comes out, and we want to be respectful of not trying to flood how much stuff gets released, but then there's just so much cool stuff you want to release.
And we have constant requests. Can you do this? Please do this. I'm really looking for that. So it is a balance of all the things that we're hearing that people want that also I may want to do. And I have, some idea of how I want things to roll out, in what order, how many launches we think are appropriate a year. But it's a balance between like what the people want and what I want and what makes sense from a release calendar schedule. Because we don't want to release something brand new that's limited edition every week. I get that frustration as a customer. So that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, I will say, look, with the specific examples given, I'm not sure if I should say this. Those 2 collections came out not at the ideal times that they were first envisioned they would come out.
Yeah.
And got shifted around. I think we could say that at this point. Though I think they were even supposed to be flipped.
Yes.
There wasn't supposed to be the release of the Electric Hollows wasn't supposed to come out right after what was right before that.
The pastel linears.
Yeah, there was supposed to be the cremes in
cremes
between.
Was supposed to be in between, but we ran into an issue with the cremes.
There have been some, I don't know if people are interested in this. There's like global supply chain issues going on right now affecting a lot of businesses, and it affects us too. So
yeah, I think people don't realize that, but that is a really good point. So sometimes the release calendar, as much as we want to plan it and make it, the perfect number of weeks or months between collections, sometimes other things happen where we literally can't release this because one product out of 17 components we need to make something work didn't come in on time. So then all of a sudden it's a domino effect.
And what we noticed with this launch, which is totally cool, and we we noticed a lot of people buying the Lifes of Beach cremes with the Remix collection. And clearly some customers have taken the approach that if a creme release happens and it's not limited edition, they're going to wait till the next collection to order
And
it.
then pick it up later. Yeah. And that's cool and strategic. As a customer, I would do that too. So yeah, you can keep that in mind.
All right, next question from the Simply Detective. How many ideas have you written down for possible future collections? And could you provide me that list so I can leak it?
Are you in my phone, Simply Detective?
I thought this person might have been an employee at one point.
No.
Because honestly, they got something right that
Which one?
don't think was, I don't even want to say it, but it was
Okay.
like something that I didn't think you had leaked anywhere, but maybe you did.
Maybe
and I just didn't notice
yeah.
it. But yeah, okay. How many ideas do you have written down?
I have an endless notes of like so many different threads and notes to myself. I even have like Post-it notes that I'll write things down, but I try and keep it all
Very
in my
organized.
computer because it's easier to control find, because otherwise I'd lose all my thoughts. But yeah, I not only do I have notes with just like shade name ideas and concepts and copy concepts that I don't want to forget if I had a really good line that I think of for something in like 8 months, but I also have a bunch of slideshow decks where I've kind of curated pictures and images and ideas together. It might be just pigment based, like this is a very specific pigment I know I want, but I don't know what the creative concept is yet, but I know I want to do this. Or the opposite, like we really want this particular vibe or messaging. I don't know what the product is yet, though. So I have slideshows with pictures and thoughts, and then I also have notes, and they will probably take me to 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's how many. That just never ends.
I think I already sort of indicated, like, we already have a pretty good idea. It's all subject to change, but like, you have to be at least 6 months ahead, like
More.
at a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more than that. So yeah, there's a pretty good idea of what 2022 could look like if things
Well,
go
6
to
months
plan.
from now is just till the end of the year, so that's already done.
Yeah.
The rest of this year is already done. Check.
All right, from Michelle's Mitch Smells. Have all your collections had similar profit margins?
A question for you.
The polishes tend to be similarly priced, but I imagine some of them can be pretty pricey to produce, considering how over the top this collection was. I've got to imagine it was the most expensive one to produce. How much do we want to share here, Cristine?
You're the profit margin taxation expert.
No, I'm not. We have other people do that. But
Yeah.
This collection was the most expensive from a product perspective.
From what went into it and the box
The product cost as a percentage of
of the retail cost.
retail, yes.
Yes. Okay, so the profit margin was worse, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes, but it's also one where a lot of people were interested in this one. Volumes were higher, so there's
Sure.
other things that kind of counteract that. And I think we've shared in the past that the linear hollow formula is a favorite, one we liked a lot. We've released many polishes in that formula, right? But that one is also expensive just due to raw ingredients.
Yeah, and there is no substitute or weakening of, or I mean, I guess you could weaken the amount of pigment in it, but it would result in just not as good as a linear hollow product. So there's some things we're just not willing to sacrifice, and the particular hollow pigment that's in there is like the real one, the good one, and it costs money. You just got to pay for the quality. So it is what it is, and that is in part why the linear hollows are $14 instead of $13 for hollow glitter. So there is some variance in our prices for a reason. Like cremes are $11 because they are a lot less expensive from a costing perspective for what actually goes into the bottle, which kind of makes sense when you think of what's the most common type of nail polish you see in the drugstore. Creme.
Yeah.
Because it's the cheapest to make.
Creme and fake hollow.
And fake hollow, that's cheap. We don't know her.
So this is an interesting, the point on the boxes too is interesting, right? Because obviously a lot of thought went into the box for the Remix collection. And there's a few other ideas for like interesting other ways of doing boxes, but I would love to hear from people their perspective on this, because we've had a lot of conversations internally about these like different boxes that are more impressive and bigger and stuff. But then also like the collector in me really likes the idea of those sort of standard boxes that had that same format, and the way they can sort of build a collection on a shelf that all sort of looks the same, you know?
I feel like you could make an argument either way, but I'd be interested to see in the comments how that kind of splits. Because we also, if you always do the same thing, you may be restraining your creativity. And like the CD box for the Remix was so cool and unique. And I think occasionally a super special box that like does something like spin is warranted for an anniversary collection. Well, obviously we already made that decision.
Yes.
And I think everyone was really happy and impressed with it. But that was kind of the thinking, is that to change it up, to show something, to have something a little more special that does something, I think is fun. But I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts.
This is our market research.
In the comments.
Next one, Dots. So when it comes to boxes, are you thinking of doing more boxes that are different styles, like the Remix box in the future? Oh, okay. I guess we basically just asked that. It is something that is a lot of debate and conversation internally. Anything else to add? We basically answered it.
Like, yes, we are considering it. I don't think we always want to do an overly complicated box that is more expensive, because that's just not sustainable for every collection. But that doesn't mean that we're ruling out maybe trying a different style of box, just to change things up a little bit for collections in the future.
In the near future.
That we've already planned.
That have already been
6
committed
months.
to. Okay, yeah. This isn't the last time you're going to see a different box. Okay, next one from Kelsey Fortune. You mentioned in the stream last week that you have to come up with shade names super far in advance. Are there any polishes where you came up with a better name, but it was too late? No.
Yes.
Yeah? When did
I
this
have
happen?
regrets. Regrets.
No regrets.
Banana Hacks.
I love that name.
No,
No.
people did not love it because it was spelled wrong. It was spelled B-A-N.
How is it spelled? Spelled banana.
It was spelled not like your name. And I definitely realized our mistake after the fact when all of the comments were like, why did you not call this banana?
I think you knew before that even, but it was like, hey, did we already print the stickers for the bottle? And it's like, yeah. And it's like, okay. Right?
Well, we went back and forth, and I ultimately made the decision to okay Banana Hacks as it was, obviously. But I don't know. I kept going back and forth in my head, and maybe we thought it wasn't the best approach to name it like that because it's just like a random yellow creme. It wasn't part of a collection for you or anything about you. So I thought, is that weird? I don't know. But I think looking back, well, not looking back, looking forward in the future,
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm going to be a little more liberal in my naming decisions.
Oh, you haven't been?
I know. But yes,
think
sometimes it happens.
I think you're overthinking this, though. It's fine. Banana Hacks is a great name.
I don't know, Ben. We're going to do you justice one day.
One of these days. From Crystal Robin, have you ever had to change the name of a polish due to copyright infringement or legal issues? Always love listening to the podcast.
You want to take this one?
Do I want to take this one? Have we ever had to do that?
No, not after the fact, but that's because before we release polishes with shade names, we always do a check.
Yeah, and it's not even like a trademark search necessarily, although that does happen.
That is the main thing.
But sometimes it's just, I think one of the biggest things, there's been a few times we think we've come up with a name, we'll Google around and realize that name has been used by other, not even necessarily nail polish brands, but
Like
maybe we're
makeup.
just seeing other brands use that name. And usually that's a sign that that wasn't a very good name. Because usually if a bunch of other people could have thought of it, it's probably not what we're going for in terms of being kind of quirky and unique and a little different, right?
And it doesn't mean you can't use it, especially if it's widely used, like unicorn. Just the word unicorn or something, right?
Sure,
like
yeah.
so many brands and companies use that word alone to describe a pigment or a polish, and it's not necessarily trademarked unicorn by itself, but maybe in combination with another word, it can be. So there's the trademark search, which you have to do for legal reasons, but then there's just the like, do we really want a shade name that is used by a bunch of other companies? And that's not even like a legal thing. You could still use it because they haven't trademarked it, but it's just like something I definitely take into consideration.
Yeah. And then I guess there are a couple actually that didn't you want to call sparkling water Fiji water at some point?
Yeah.
And we were like, maybe we just shouldn't name it after other
I mean,
brand.
because that's funny and on brand from a Simply Analogical perspective, because the joke is Ben always drinks his Fiji water. But Fiji water is probably like it's trademarked. I don't think they have a trademark in cosmetics, although maybe they do. I don't know. I didn't even bother looking it up because I was just like, wait, we can't do that. Or I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it didn't escalate to the point of
actually
looking
checking.
into it. Same thing with like Sonic Unicorn skin. I remember at one point there was a conversation like, we're not saying it's this because it's like Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Because it's a blue unicorn skin.
Right, but we never.
But
the word Sonic on its own isn't an issue because it's not a hedgehog.
Should have called it Sonic the Hedgehog unicorn skin. Sonic the hedgehog skin.
Sonic as in Sonic Boom.
Yes.
The sound audio.
Mm-hmm. That's our story. From Anastasia. Beverly Hills. I'd love to know more about the process of you working with swatchers. Do you discover them? Do they apply? Also, how do you choose people for PR? Is it artists you've discovered on Instagram randomly? I'm not a swatcher or anything, just interested.
There was a lot of questions about swatching PR and all that. I'll answer the how do I discover people first. We don't have an application process because we're not actively looking, because in all honesty I have such a good vantage point already on like who's active in the nail polish swatching community because I've been a part of this community for so long. I think it's different if it's a business that maybe isn't in that space, so they like will put out applications to find people to swatch for them, but I already kind of follow and I've heard of so many accounts and I'm always discovering new ones, and truth be told that is just how we discovered most of our swatchers.
It's Cristine in bed at 11 p.m. just scrolling through social media.
It's not just me. In the beginning, it was definitely just me, but now we've expanded, so our social media manager and team might spot an account and be like, hey, Cristine, what do you think of this person? And I'll be like, oh, that's a really good find. Let's contact this person. So that is kind of how it works, pretty informally.
Yeah. All right, from Nowaki, how does PR specifically work? I know with PR, they're not obligated to review the product or anything. But if someone in the PR list never does, do they get kicked off the PR list over time? Or how does someone get removed from the PR list?
Yeah, it's really not as serious as I think people assume. Like the whole, we're mad at you for doing something, kicking you off.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of how PR works, maybe let's just explain that again. I know we've probably addressed it in the sponsorships podcast, just trying to educate what the difference is. But as far as Holo Taco goes, there's 3 different types of groups of people we might work with. There's PR, which is when we send Holo Taco product to an account, whether they're small or large, and it's completely 100% at their discretion whether they want to post. They literally never have to. And that happens often with the larger influencers that I still continue to send to, some of them anyways. They may never post. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they never check their mail. Maybe they don't care. They don't have to. And that's kind of the beauty of PR. Like when I get sent PR, I don't have to show it. I do if I feel like it. And there's no obligations. Then there is...
Sorry, if they never show it after 2 years of existing as a brand, is there a point at which you're just like not sending it to them anymore?
Occasionally, yeah, good point. I think after like a few months, maybe even 6 months, I will review the PR list and think, has this person shown it? Maybe they like moved and I couldn't reach them to get their new address. This happens with some larger influencers sometimes. And it's just like not worth asking them because I don't want to bother them either or make them feel like they need to post because they do not. But also it's kind of a sign to me that if I've sent them the last 6 launches and they literally never showed it, maybe they don't care. So I would rather save that product for other swatchers or PR people maybe who might want to use it. So it's not a punishment. It's just like if I never showed a product for like 6 months after a brand sends it to me, like I don't blame them for like not sending it to me anymore.
Yeah, I guess we don't think about it that deeply, right?
It's not really that deep. And then the second type of reason we might send someone a product is for paid swatching, which is where we directly pay swatchers for the rights to use their photos on our website and on our socials. So we've talked about that before. That is not for promotional purposes on their end. They have no expectation to post and say like, buy Holo Taco, because we're not sponsoring them to post on their socials, but they can if they want. But we're really just paying them to buy the rights so we can use their photos.
There is a group of people like that, but then there's the group of people.
And then there's the third group, which is the sponsored content, which we change up all the time. So that's maybe another thing I want to note, just in case anyone's listening here who's been maybe on our PR list or swatcher list or sponsored list, is that the swatchers, we use the same people because it just helps with like consistency in the website. For sponsored content, we deliberately change that up with every launch. I mean, sometimes a person might be repeated, but we deliberately will change up the strategy, change up what types of accounts we're sponsoring. And most recently with the Remix collection, for the first time, we sponsored some larger YouTubers, GB and Lauren Z side. So that was really exciting. And if someone had been sponsored in the past on Instagram and we didn't sponsor them the next launch, it doesn't mean we didn't like working with them. I just want to put that out there because I know the feeling. If I had been sponsored, at one point by a company and then they like didn't contact me for the next campaign, that for me, for Holo Taco, that does not mean we didn't like your work. We are doing that deliberately to kind of spread it around.
Yeah, I think most people get that, or most people in this space should know that.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear because I don't know. No one had said anything, but I feel bad if people think like, we don't like them anymore. But yeah, being sponsored means that Holo Taco will send the product to the account, and that account is being paid specifically to produce content and post it on their platform, and they have to write sponsored or ad.
Yeah.
And there is an expectation for like timelines. This is the kind of content we're looking for. We check the caption and we have like a recommended, like what are we looking for? Nail art or a reel or whatever it is.
I was super happy with it was really interesting being on the other side of sponsoring YouTube content for the first time. And just say both those people were great to work with, GB and Lauren. And we made a decision to do that pretty late in the process. So I did just want to acknowledge and just sort of appreciate how accommodating they were of pretty unreasonable timelines to do it. And we don't want to take advantage of the fact that you are sort of, someone liked in the YouTube community. And it is something we've really debated over the past few months, like to work with YouTubers. We don't want to put people in an awkward position where like they're more inclined to agree just because they like you, or maybe they're even friends with you, right?
Yeah, like we want to pay them their fair rate too. Like what they ask for their influence, we want to pay them.
Well, we also want to, like, having worked with brands that were good and not so good to work with, we definitely know how we want to behave in a way that is a very creator-friendly
way. We don't want to be unreasonable and demanding with, like, can you change this one tiny thing? Or I can see a logo on your hoodie. Like, no, I don't care.
We don't care. Okay. But yeah, no, that's been interesting. And we're still really evolving in our thinking about these sort of marketing
I just think
channels.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Like, I love the fact that Holo Taco is at the point where it has a marketing budget where it can pay influencers, large and small, and we're deliberately spreading it around. We're not just doing only larger influencers. There are a ton of smaller Instagram accounts that we sponsor to or give PR to.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Nailing painting. What does the approval process look for sponsored content? Do you actually approve it yourself?
We recently sponsored nailing painting, which is...
What did the approval process look like for nailing paint? You okay there? Cristine just inhaled some tea.
I laughed.
Cristine, you can't breathe tea. Do we need a little tea break?
I'm sorry, I went to like breathe while I was drinking tea. I don't know what happened.
Drinking tea is dangerous sometimes.
Oh, the tea. You made it too good. Nailing painting. Very talented. Love working with her.
Don't cry.
So our social media manager will go through the post submission first and review it and just make sure that all the copy that we requested is there, that the content is as expected, and then they'll send it to me. And yes, I personally do review every single sponsored post that is going to go out to get my sign off before it is approved. So yes, I see everything.
You see everything. All right, moving on from Dr. Cringe. How much time are you putting into Holo Taco? Do you spend just a few hours a week, or is this like a part-time job? Do you spread more time on Holo Taco or YouTube or your day job? Did you cut anything out of your schedule to make room for Holo Taco?
If I had a pie chart, which
Yeah.
I need a time tracker. But Holo Taco is definitely the majority of my time. It just doesn't look like it's the majority of my time because you don't always see all the business meetings, all the prototyping and testing and swatching, all the asset creation that I'm doing behind the scenes, all the social media post-approval time. You don't see that stuff. But that is where so much of my time is spent. And there is not a day, weekday or weekend that goes by that I hadn't spent at least a couple hours on Holo Taco. Mm-hmm. If not the entire day.
Yeah, even if it's just reviewing things or checking things or approving things, right?
There's always emails. There's always Slack DMs. There's always approving social posts. And then there's ongoing prototyping and testing and giving feedback to products that, we're going to release in 6 months from now.
And what did Cristine cut out of her schedule? Nothing. She just adds more to her schedule.
Cleaning the house.
That's what she cut out?
No. That is the real thing. Because we were talking about this the other day. And I looked at the fridge, and I was just like, this fridge smells. It's disgusting. Why hasn't it been cleaned in like a year? It's my fault, because normally I'd be better at just, occasionally wiping it down. But yeah, no cleaning. So I just got so mad and just started chucking everything out of the fridge and just cleaning it after Remix was finally over and done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I literally do not clean the house. I think that's what I've sacrificed. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, it's that work balance for you, right? Okay, moving on for Dorothy. Why did you decide to stream instead of have an edited video for the Remix launch? I missed your regular reveal video, and a 4-hour stream was a lot for me. Monkey emoji heart.
Yeah, so this was kind of a trial, an experiment, because I didn't know necessarily if people would come to the stream, but to my surprise, so many people showed up, and I was genuinely surprised at how overwhelmingly positive everyone was in the chat. If you were able to make it, I understand that not everyone has time to watch the entire 4 hours, and I did not expect most people to stick around for that time, but it's just one of those things where if you are the type of person who likes to consume streaming content and you like background noise or just someone to hang out with, that's what streaming is for. It's not for everyone, but I'm finding it's increasingly becoming part of the daily lives of young people, young professionals. If you're someone who works from home, streaming is becoming more common to just turn on and leave on. That's what I found myself turning on streams.
Even if it's entirely in the background, right?
I do it while I swatch. So I appreciate that it's not the content for everyone. And for that, I am trying to work on creating stream highlights. I now have an editor helping me out with that. And we did just post a video of the launch day highlights from my stream, posted it on the SimplyPodLogical channel. So I condensed 4 hours into less than 10 minutes. So that video's out now. So if you missed the stream, you can watch that.
Yeah, so we're aware it's not for everyone. I guess I want to sort of acknowledge, though, what you like about it, and what we sort of found with the Remix launch was having that immediate feedback is really valuable. And I'm not even saying this in a strategic way necessarily, but just in terms of you enjoying what you're doing too. Like the difference between actually revealing and having that instant feedback of people in a chat
Yeah.
versus sitting at a desk and like, yeah, you're excited about revealing something, but you're just sort of sitting there alone being excited about something, right? It's a very different feeling.
It's completely different because when I film or used to film a launch video, I'd film it a week or two before and I'd have to act and be like, here it is. But like, it's not actually out yet. I'm not actually talking or seeing anyone's reaction. And yes, you could say I've done that for years on YouTube. I'm always pre-filming and then posting. But I've really found that there's such a better connection with your audience when you can do these kinds of things live. And I think if you ask anyone who was at the stream, they would agree that it was extremely exciting to be there. It's just if you weren't there, or it's not really your thing, I can also understand why maybe you're a little confused why this was my approach. But it's an approach that I really like. I've been streaming now for 2 months on the Simply Not Logical channel. Every Simply Stream Sunday, we do a stream, and it's been so fun. And everyone who shows up, like they love it, and we all get to talk to each other and hang out at the same time. And that's why I did it ultimately. If anything, like my stream gets way less views. Also, it's on my second channel than my main channel. If I'm being strategic about this, I should have made a main channel video.
Oh yeah, and
Right.
I mean, I think people would expect this. Live streams make way less money than uploaded content.
I don't think people think that because I've seen a few comments that say, "Oh, you must be making so much money. That's why you're streaming so much." And I'm just like, no.
No, it's not a finite. Well,
It depends, but
if people are turning on all the features,
yeah.
Yeah. If you're just in terms of the ads that run on live streams versus your main channel videos,
Yeah.
we're on completely different planets in terms of ad revenue.
Exactly. So it's definitely not for money.
From Rainy, do you have any collections that had to get scrapped? Collection ideas that couldn't happen. If you're able to, could you share a little bit about them? Can we share?
What's the tea? Well, if we scrap them, there's probably a good reason, so we can't share them.
But even things that had to be shelved, it doesn't mean a breakthrough on the R&D side could make it possible. I don't know how much to say about this one. Like, there have been a lot of innovation might come down to ingredients or pigments. And we have certain internal standards for suppliers we work with or what products have in them. And we'll send things to third-party labs to be tested sometimes as part of a process. And there have been times we've found really cool things that would have resulted in really cool looking products, but they didn't meet the sort of standards we have set for certain things.
Yeah, so it's not so much of a creative challenge like we can't figure out how to make something look cool. Sometimes we'll find really cool pigments that I want, but we do some tests and realize that we can't release them because they don't meet our standards.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. From Rosie Forsberg, how do you deal with the competition in the nail polish industry?
I don't.
How do you deal with it, Christy?
I don't care.
Well, I wanted to include this question because when we both looked at it, we were like, how
don't
come
know.
we never think about that?
I don't know. I'm just kind of like in my own lane, releasing Holo Taco combos that I want to see, and who is our I don't really know who exactly our competition is.
Well, yeah, I guess we're not naive to the fact that there is a market for nail polish, and there
Yeah.
are people interested in buying nail polish, and they don't have infinite money. So in that
Yeah, yeah.
sense, there is like a market share thing, to
Sure,
consider,
but
right?
I guess the way I come at it as like a consumer of makeup and nail polish myself is that I always, when I was a consumer, just because I buy from one brand doesn't mean I'm never going to buy from other brands. Like I want to try different things from different brands, and each brand does something different. So that's always been kind of my approach. I'm not mad if people who buy Holo Taco next week they buy from another nail polish company. Like, yes, please try like nail polish.
Yeah, and we're not like trying to be like ahead of the Pantone color of the year. And we're not thinking of it like we're not on store shelves. So it's not like we think about it in a way where it's like there's only so much room for a product and we want to be that product, right? Like when you're direct to consumer, it's also
we're on our own website. So as far as I'm concerned, there's no competition on holotaco.com. We're not competing for space, right?
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's the answer. From Jules, do you find you still have time to wear other brands of nail polish, or are your nails permanently taken up by product testing and wearing Holo Taco collections? Yeah. Okay. For anyone listening to this, Cristine is just showing her hands, which is great for an audio podcast.
Sorry. Yes, I have no time really, and it's not because I hate all other nail polish. I obviously have 2,000 bottles of nail polish, most of which aren't Holo Taco, behind me in my main channel videos and the famous shelves. And
it's not just old pot. Like you still get
I still
polish.
get PR. I still get PR from other nail polish companies. But yeah, the truth is if there's not an upcoming collection that I'm swatching every polish, swatching combinations, taking pictures outside, inside, and all that, then I'm constantly testing and trying products that are coming out later down the line. And for every release we have, I could have gone through a dozen prototypes. So I need to be trying those not just on swatch wheels or on paper, but on my nails too. So. And then there's also just, the more organic social media stuff where I want to just try a new combo and then just like show it on Snapchat and just have fun with whatever I feel like wearing that day, as opposed to what I do need to put on because we're shooting for something upcoming or because I have to test for something upcoming. So my nails literally, I don't have enough nails. I don't have enough time or enough nails.
Yeah. Is that kind of a bummer though? Or like, how do you feel about it?
I hear you, and I've also seen the odd comment of someone suggests like, oh, does that mean like you just hate all other nail polish or you refuse to wear it because it's your competition? And that's not it at all. How about this? Like if you had your own nail polish company and you had 50 shades by now and you're working on more, wouldn't you always want to wear it and play with it?
Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, the Power Air. You mentioned in a live about discontinuing certain polishes like the glitters or offering them seasonally only. Is that something you're seriously thinking of? Yeah, so you did mention this, right? And this is mostly a product of just the catalog getting bigger.
It's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years. Very few of the polishes have actually been limited and, only existed for that time. Like it's just built up how much is always available on the website. And yeah, we're having to think about things now, like how many of those polishes really need to be available year round, right?
Yeah, and it's pretty similar to the average company in cosmetics who thinks about like, how much room do I have on my shelf to display these lipsticks? They may change it up, or after a while, it's been 2 years, there's 3 lipstick shades that just aren't selling as well. But they've been around, so they've been available for people to purchase, but the data is just showing that it's not worth it to them, and maybe they're better off introducing something new. So it's kind of similar, and it didn't really become an issue for us until more recently when we look at how many nail polishes we actually have. They all take up space in the warehouse. They all take up different resources. They all take up a different formula and recipe, and you'd have to be made in a different batch, obviously, because they're different products. So when all of these factors are considered, after 2 years, we are realizing we have to start thinking of this, that like not every polish can be constantly available in perpetuity.
And I wouldn't want people to freak out because I think it...
Please don't freak out. We're not discontinuing everything tomorrow, but...
From even having initial conversations about what sort of strategy to use to do that, and maybe it's like, some things are maybe just more available in a seasonal way as opposed to year round. Like every time like an idea is floated how to do that, I think Cristine is like very like, oh no, we can't get rid of that one because I like it for this reason. Like we're gonna have a really hard time.
I've already done that. I've already ruled out people. I'm like, nope, we can't discontinue that.
Okay. From Emily Schilt, did Zyler get saved? I feel like we need a little context here. So Cristine disclosed on a stream that Zyler the cat, an orange hollow glitter polish, it was one of our least best-selling polishes.
Yeah. Poor Xyler.
Which is kind of funny, and we sort of joked about how like hashtag save Xyler. I just want to be clear though, we're not trying to like emotionally
No.
yeah, like
it was funny.
it was just a funny thing. You don't have to buy an orange polish because it has Xyler's name on it.
If you don't like orange hollow glitter, don't buy Xyler the cat.
But yeah, a few people did buy it after you mentioned
Yeah,
that.
they did.
We did notice that. And I don't know, with the cats, like that is one of those examples of something where like there's a few products where even if it's not selling great, you might still argue to keep it around just because
It's literally
has a
my
certain
child.
role in the brand. I don't know. I don't want to make any promises, but
Yeah, but Xyler's not going anywhere for now.
no,
Because
you need him for fall.
I will say no. Oh yeah, exactly. Xyler the cat. Maybe I'll instruct our social media team to let's do more Xyler promo during the fall because it's such a perfect color.
Hey, let's just
for fall.
promote Xyler, not
Just
the brand.
Xyler.
And last question from Brandy Cotton. I want Ben to design a collection, and all of the proceeds will go to his dream vacation.
Uh-oh.
All of the proceeds, not to anything else.
So, are you gonna design cremes because they have the best profit margin?
Maybe that's what we should do. I just want a collection theme or idea that is an excuse to go somewhere, go on vacation.
So tell us, Ben, what's your ideal collection concept?
Well, I don't want to give it
Sell
away.
me.
You gotta. I'm not like you. I'm not gonna spoil everything we do. A lot of people ask that. Did we drop that question? People asking if Cristine's spoilers are like a deliberate marketing technique, or if she is legitimately spoiling things.
You know, I think people give me too much credit. They think I'm some like marketing genius.
Well,
and
here,
I'm
what
like,
I'll
I don't
say
know.
is, it definitely started from Cristine just doing it. I think many of us have realized that like it's not
It's
a bad
fun.
thing.
That it's fun.
But there have been times though where like me or
Yeah.
someone else is like, she just like showed like like something like a lot of something like weeks before it's coming out though. There have been times where it's like, are you sure you wanted to show that yet?
Yeah, you've asked me that. You're like, we still have a week to go. What about the Holo Taco teasers? Because like, it's not a teaser anymore. If Holo Taco posts something as a teaser, and I've already shown that, you know. So I know. I just get too excited.
That's okay. People like we
Yeah.
we see the value in it. People like getting hyped up for collections. It's exciting to see you excited about things and wanting to share it.
And it's
Even
excited to see customers piece things together like a detective, like a puzzle, trying to figure out what it's going to be. So here's the information we found from Facebook. Here's the information from Simply Snapchat. And together we think it's this. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so vacation collection.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. It's your collection. What do
I
you
mean,
want?
we're going to have to find a place to slot it in.
Do you have any input on the formulas or like the colors?
Do we have a gap in 2022? Formula? I don't know.
Well, you need to know. This is a bad collaborator.
I want to start from the concept and then think back, send it to the product development people, see what we come up with.
So you want someone else to come up with the formula.
Yeah.
You have no creative input on the color or application whatsoever.
No, which is like airplane, steel.
Takeoff. Landing or takeoff. That could be part of a good shade name. See, this is what happens. I need my notes.
This is how not formulaic the process is. All right, Chris, Simply, you got anything else?
I know everyone's going to be like, what's next? But like, I can't tell you because it's just too soon.
What is the rest of the year at a high level?
Can we tell people? Just
I think you
kind
kind of did on a stream, right?
okay, so we can repeat it then. If I said it already, it's already out there.
You've already leaked
Oops.
it.
I did confirm that there will be a fall collection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give too much details.
No, don't
There
do
will be
that.
a fall collection with a box.
And there will be a
A
birthday
birthday
moment.
moment. So there will be the same thing we did last year where I had a limited edition single birthday polish. We're doing that again. But we're adding more. We're dropping more at the same time because that was the biggest feedback from last year is that we only dropped one item and it just like wasn't worth shipping and it was frustrating. So totally understood and heard you. So we're doing a little bit more than just a single polish for my birthday period. And then there's going to be a holiday collection, as there always is going to be a holiday collection. That's pretty.
You could guess that.
But what can I give? It's a formula type that everyone's been asking for again.
Okay.
Ben's like, okay, shut up.
Yeah, there you go.
But lots
I'm
of
sure
great
you've
things.
showed it on Snapchat already.
Actually, I did. It's actually somewhere, yeah.
Okay,
but lots of great things to come for Holo Taco for the rest of this year. They're already done and finalized. It's just about like now making them. People are making them basically. Making and,
Yeah.
Making them, yeah. And then next year, we are still working.
No, we're not talking
I'm
about
not
next
telling
year.
you. I'm just saying next year, like you said earlier in the podcast, we're planning. Yeah.
Especially the early part of the year, we already have a pretty, yeah, But yeah, thank you everyone for your interest, your support.
Yeah, and if you got the remix collection, I'm so excited to see everyone's manicures with the remix polishes and everyone spinning the CD in their stories.
Yeah, spinning the
Love
CD, making the mixes.
The bonus tracks.
And yeah, we've been really enjoying just poking around social media, not just to see people like receiving the collection and playing with, but like Discord and other threads and stuff. Just like the feedback is really useful.
Yeah.
I guess you have to find the signal in the noise sometimes, but we really do pay attention to what people are saying and asking for and their opinions on whether it's on Discord or Instagram or even the moms on Facebook we sometimes listen to.
Facebook Mom Blue.
Facebook Mom Blue.
That was one of my bonus tracks from last stream.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hope you have a happy Taco Tuesday. Paint your nails. Maybe you painted your nails during this pod. I wonder if people do that. It seems like a good way to spend an hour.
It seems possible.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode number 3 of Holo Taco.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.